So if you're a biker or super into Western history, Deadwood is the place for you. Our names are Mike and Heather. We're traveling the US in our van Appa on a mission to visit all 50 states. Subscribe and join us as we try to figure out this whole van life thing. As always, thanks for watching. Good morning from the Devil's Tower parking lot, where we have successfully nabbed ourselves a parking spot. We only had to circle around twice, so I'd call that a success. Over the next couple of days, we are going to be exploring the Black Hills of South Dakota, Deadwood, Mount Rushmore, the Badlands, all of that's to come. But on our way to South Dakota, it was too perfect to not drive past Devil's Tower because it was literally on the way. So this is the first stop before South Dakota.
Yeah, so we came about, 8 or 10 hours from the Glacier National Park in Montana all the way back down to Wyoming, which is a state we've been before, but this was a spot that we wanted to come to check out the Devil's Tower National Monument. There's a really cool trail that takes you around Devil's Tower, a visitor center, so we're gonna go check those out before we head into State 32. After our stop in at the visitor center, we are now moving up the hill towards the Tower Trail, which is about a 1-mile loop around the base of the tower, which should give us views from all of the different sides and be able to kind of get up close and personal, well, as close as you can get without climbing it, which is something you can do here. So we're gonna get a chance to get some really good views.
We have made it back to the van and have actually left our parking spot because it was pretty awkward just to even walk to the van with everybody who was trying to steal our spot, which I can totally get because we were the ones doing that about a half hour ago as well.
We actually left the park, but we pulled over to check out the prairie dog town where there were a bunch of black-tail prairie dogs. That was really cool. We got to see them doing their thing, and
it was very cute.
Yeah, absolutely, really cute. It was really cool to go up and see Devil's Tower. There was a nice hike that you could do all the way around. We didn't really vlog while we were up there to be respectful. There was a lot of prayer flags, which they asked you not to disturb or take pictures or videos of. The local Native American tribes still hold that place as sacred, so we definitely didn't want to overstep and just sort of took in the beauty that was that Devil's Tower area.
Over 20 different tribes actually call that a sacred landmark and have sacred stories regarding it as well. The majority of people do not call that Devil's Tower. It's right in front of us now, that's why I'm pointing this way. They call it Bear Lodge based off of one of the Native American stories that have been passed along through the generation. So that's really neat, and I think an important thing to know is that its second name, or rather first name, is Bear Lodge.
Yeah, and so I think that's something that we're going to encounter a lot while we're in this area as we're in
the Black Hills.
Yeah, this part of Wyoming going into South Dakota, the Black Hills, is that these are areas that are sacred to Native American tribes. And the other important thing is they're on unceded land. So this was all land belonging to the indigenous people.
I am very excited to continue learning more about the Native American history here because I think it's really important to know, not only as a tourist destination, but that this is a very important place and land to people more than just a tourist destination.
We do have the Gypsy guide going for this area so we can get some information as we go, and hopefully that'll alert us to any other cool stops that we would have missed if we didn't have it. So we've got an adventure ahead of us and we're excited to get to it.
The Gypsy Guide is basically an automated GPS tour navigator. So we've used this a couple times and we just love them because we love having a little tour guide operator in our van with us. We have officially crossed over the border and are now in South Dakota, which is our 32nd state on our 50-state road trip that we're currently on. So it's kind of hard to believe that we are
18 states away from being done.
Is that crazy?
It's pretty wild.
Now that we have officially left Wyoming and the Devil's Tower, or Bear Lodge, we are headed towards Spearfish, which is a little town, a little western town in South Dakota. So South Dakota is full of Western history as well as obviously Native American history. So I'm very excited to see what South Dakota, our 32nd state, has in store.
Just a couple of minutes away from the turnoff for Highway 14A.
We have made it to the town of Spearfish that we actually just drove through, so it's not necessarily a stopping point for us today on this trip, but the real reason why we came down to Spearfish was to hop on the 14A road, which is the Spearfish Canyon Scenic Drive. Spearfish Canyon Drive is about 13 miles long, and it follows the Spearfish Canyon River? Stream.
Spearfish River.
Yeah.
Spearfish River.
It follows a stream body of river through the canyon, and along the way there are waterfalls, fly fishing areas, and just generally great scenery. So one of the things that we just stopped off with is Bridal Veil Falls. So similar to the Yosemite's Bridal Veil Falls, the reason why it was named that is because of the way that the water wisps down like a bridal veil. So very pretty stop on our Spearfish Canyon
Drive.
It's a mouthful. Very pretty stop, and I'm ready to see what the rest of the 13 miles has to offer.
We made our way through the Spearfish Canyon Drive on Route 14A, and it brought us to the town of Lead here in South Dakota, specifically the Sanford Lab Homestake Visitor Center. So this used to be the Homestake Mining Company, and if you've watched any of our vlogs from California, as we were driving in Big Sur, we passed Hearst Castle, which was William Randolph Hearst, who's the son of George Hearst, who owned this mine. So kind of a amazing cross-country connection. But we're here to learn a little bit more about the lab, which is doing studies in dark matter.
Which just sounds intense. Basically, Lead and Deadwood and kind of this whole area used to be famous for gold mining. So this is an old gold mine that they've now transformed into a laboratory where scientists from all across the world come and study dark matter and
particle physics.
Way above our heads on all of the important things that they do, but it's because it's so far below the Earth's crust because of how far that they've mined it that they can actually perform these type of experiments. Really cool because it's also free to go check out, so we're gonna go do that now.
So we are going to check out the visitor center, and out the back you're able to see the massive hole in the ground that was the mine, which actually would have extended 8,000 feet down below the surface.
Yeah, they said 1.5 miles deep.
Yeah, so that far down, and then currently the lab goes about 4,000 feet deep to get away from kind of all of the electromagnetic stuff on the surface. So there's some pretty amazing things happening in there, and I can't wait to learn more about it. Particle physics, astrophysics.
He's just saying buzzwords he learned off of Big Bang Theory.
Because underground, you're dealing with things like an oxygen deficiency hazard measure.
This giant hole in the ground is 1/2 mile wide and 1,200 feet deep, and the mine is below it.
So that mine was definitely a very cool stop. It was neat to see how a once gold mine has now transitioned with time over to be a science center. And now we're one town over from Lead in Deadwood.
So it's just a short drive down the road, and we have come into the classic western town of Deadwood. This is a town sort of steeped in that Wild West tradition.
It's another boom town that became famous because of the gold rush.
This town was formed on land that was owned by the Lakota Sioux tribe. There was no kind of oversight for this town, so there was gambling and lawlessness, and all of this was fueled by the gold rush that was going on. So there are some classic Wild West names: Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane. There's
all the people that were trying to steal all the gold.
Yes.
Once known for its gold, it's now known for its tourism. So we're gonna go check out the main road and see what it has to offer. Because this is a tourist town and a western town, they actually have some shows throughout the day and reenactments or shootouts, and we're about 5 minutes till the start of one. So we're racing down the main street, see if we can get there.
This folks there just trying to make the library sell.
again, everybody together now. Howdy, folks. That's more like it. I ain't never shot a man in the back before, but I have in the leg. Ow! Ow!
We made it to the shootout in time and actually got an opportunity to explore some of Deadwood's Main Street. We walked up and down it and visited Saloon number 10, which is where
Wild Bill Hickok.
I don't know anything about Western culture, but yes, it's where he was shot to death after winning a card game.
So,
I don't really get it.
Wild Bill Hickok is a famous figure in the American West. He was a lawman, outlaw. He is maybe Deadwood's most famous citizen, and so there's a lot of interest in him in the town.
So if you're a biker or super into Western history, Deadwood is the place for you. But now we are on a dirt road headed up to the Roosevelt Tower because that's where you can boondock in this area. So we're going to scope it out now and cook us some dinner.
We are in the Black Hills National Forest, and national forests are areas that you can boondock overnight in. So I think we are going to post up here for tonight.
So I think we have found our parking spot for the night, or boondocking site rather. There is a pit toilet just a little bit ways away, which isn't bad at all. And as we were coming up, there's a lot more RVs and vans pulled off into all the other little camp spots as well. So not a bad spot at all, but I think what we're gonna do is actually walk the little path, go see the Roosevelt Tower while we're here, and still have a little bit of daylight left before we cook dinner and get ready for tomorrow. According to this plaque that I just read, behind me is the Friendship Tower. It was dedicated to Teddy Roosevelt by Seth Bullock. He built this as a monument to him because Teddy Roosevelt was a great man, according to the placard that I just read.
This is a 31-foot tall tower. You can actually walk up the stairs to the top, which has a viewing platform, so I think we're gonna do that. You ready?
Wow, it's like a lighthouse.
Yeah. All stone steps. This is pretty cool. You get really sweeping views of the surrounding area because not only are we on a tower, we're actually at the top of Mount Roosevelt. So there's some amazing views from up here.
Off into the distance that way, you can actually see that mine and lead that we just visited before we came to Deadwood.
Steep.
Just a little bit further down from the Roosevelt Tower is an overlook. There's this pretty wooden platform area with an even prettier view. Although that would be the perfect sunset spot, we are making our way back to our van to cook us some dinner. So we're not gonna watch sunset from there, but I can only imagine how beautiful it would be, but we're starving.
Yep, so we've got a little bit of a hike back down to Appa,
It's
but
a mile.
the good news is it's all downhill from here.
Except
After we get to the part.
because we're literally walking uphill.
Yeah.
Just a dawn away. I keep thinking about that big sky I've seen so many times before, but it's something else today.
The air fryer definitely comes in handy when we're moving a little bit quicker pace to be able to cook out of parking lots and everything like that, but it also comes in handy when we're starving and just don't want to boil water to make pasta or make tacos or whatever other miscellaneous actual meals that we have. So while these might not be the healthiest, they're hitting the spot tonight. So we're taking the lazy route today, but I'm not complaining at all. We have a lot more of exploring South Dakota to do, so we're gonna get to bed early as we have an action-packed day tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
I'm living my